party. And look at the two headquarters that were constructed at the time they were. One side at Katonga and the other at... What was the role of President Museveni? Did he provide money for rent? Did he incite my brother Dr. Kano Besigye not support General Gregory Mugisha Muntu? Why did the two fail to agree and even work together? Even when they would compete and agree, and the other surrenders.
The invisible hand of Museveni.
So how does the invisible hand come in? Because unless you tell me that this inquiry, in the FDC, there was the issue of the Nandala money. It was very prominent. And they promised us the vouchers and the things that had been signed. They even put an elders committee.
Dombo, bribe money is never signed for. You know it.
They put up an elders...
Your system, this one delivers money in sacks. You never sign for it.
It is Kizza Besigye who promised.
But it was a fact.
It is he promised and he never delivered. And FDC put up an elders committee chaired by somebody who was highly revered in the eastern part of Uganda. May he rest in peace.
Nabuiso.
Honorable Nabuiso. And the committee gave a report exonerating Nandala Mafabi and pointing something else. But my brother Semuju Nganda, many times I would come with him here on the talk shows, and the other team in the FDC, which eventually broke off, had a different narrative, which they perpetuated to the extreme level of breaking FDC. Now, if President Museveni was involved, I don't want to say so that he was, but at least what I know...
And you would not deny that.
But what I know is that the party, the committee for elders in FDC cleared the members and they should have followed that was the main report that should have been considered. It became peripheral and what ended up splitting the FDC. So, and this, how did this come? In the politics of Uganda, there have been two versions, basically. The one that is perpetuated by individuals who say, let us build structures, let us engage one another, let us talk to one another. In the FDC, that version was usually led by Honorable Mugisha Muntu. And then there is that version for my dear brother Kizza Besigye, which culminated into walk to work, and for them, the philosophy was defiance. Defiance versus conformity.
Okay. Honorable Dombo, you've been in politics for a while. There was once the formidable IPFC. You remember it?
Yes, I do.
And how it shook the ground.
Yes.
After IPFC, there have been several other outfits, united fronts. Did, for instance, the one that was formed in 2020, the United Forces of Change, did it ever strike you that Chagulanyi's side would work together with Besigye and others?
But in order for people to work together, there must be a basis. Ask them who are trying to come together, what was the basis? IPFC came in immediately after the promulgation of the 1995 Constitution.
96, yes.
95 Constitution, and that is the time when, during the presidential elections, I remember my senior father or uncle in Eastern Uganda, Honorable Kasaja Byachika, was very prominent in the IPFC arrangement. This was coming in after parties had been banned for a very long time. And there needed to be a structural arrangement which would match the structure of NRM, because at that time NRM was part of government. It was a movement set up by the law. And in order to counter it and support Dr. Paul Kawanga Semogerere, they came up with an arrangement that worked partially during the elections. But subsequently, look at the people who have been coming up. What has been the basis? IPFC, there was a new constitutional mechanism. Now the constitution came and defined how somebody becomes a president. What somebody
No, the IPFC came at the height of Semogle's bid for the presidency.
Yes, which
Right.
was
Yes.
which was at the time of the new constitution. The new constitution was this constitution had just been promulgated, and the structures were not yet clear, and even the levels of communication and the cooperation. But now progressively, when the parties were, and that was under the movement system. So in order to counter a movement system, which was a movement, you remember the other talk, the accusation by Honorable Winnie Byanyima, who says something which quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, cannot be a chicken. It will be a duck. So they were choosing that the NRM, the way it had been structured, it was a party. So why don't you allow other parties also to come into existence? Now, when parties were allowed, the absence of a specific ideological leaning of the parties became a very difficult position for them to focus together. Every time people coalesce together, the issue is change of government. And when they want to change government, every principle of the other organizations would rather to dominate. For instance, when my brother Chagulanyi, once he realized that after his bid for parliament, and he saw that he was loved and the darling of the young people, he chose to face it all the way. Ordinarily, if I was him, I would have decided to join the messages and understudy them, so that you bring your popularity together with their experience. That would have been a very formidable force. But what did Chagulanyi do? He didn't do anything. Even when you go to parliament, there is no record that there is a statement that he made that he understands what was happening, but he chose to bid for presidency even when he didn't know. So in the absence of a clear ideology and good organizational structure and lack of elders, I've asked you many times this question. Many times when DP disagreed, Honorable Dr. Hwanga Semogere disagreed with the Tiberio Okeny, who would bring them together? Ruvaga, the cardinal, and the structure of the Catholic Church would come in and prevail, and behind the scenes, these two would end up agreeing and working together. But when the young people have disagreed, is there any moderating effect over these people who guides them to show them on what to do?
Well, was the premise upon which these fronts were being created strong enough to sustain them, or there were more of marriages of convenience to take you through an electoral season?
You see, I've been quite involved in the unit of oppositional parties since IPC. IPC, I was quite involved. Actually, even the creation of iPod was an idea of me and Salam and Ruchamzi and Deonjoki and Mwesugwa when Sweden, when we mooted that idea of forming iPod to formalize the unit of the opposition. But my experience is that has always been 50 columnists in this efforts. There's always somebody, one or two people, who will be here, but actually they work for the state. And they are the people who always rake the efforts of working together. I can point out that maybe not good to mention names, but we have always had those names, and you eventually end up there. After the election, you can trace them. They end up there.
Are they the moles that?
No, but they always end up there. I know the one who was recording us like this during TDA ended up there, and we saw. So, you know, NRM loves talking about ideology. Actually, there's no ideology for NRM. Those stupid things they say they're not stupid. Those things they say.
You can call them anything.
They say patriotism. Is NRM patriotic? When you are patriot, you love the country, you love the people. You care for everybody. But NRM clearly discriminates. What for I can't have this? I have 8 kids in my home with degrees. They can't get jobs in the government. Are they patriotic? They can distribute money for development in my village. They can't give to a PFF. They will give to an NRM. Is that patriotism? So they talk of patriotism. They talk of Pan-Africanism. All those things They are not ideology. They mean nothing, right? So, what is it that Dombo is saying we don't have one thing that can unite us? What
is that one thing that unites you?
Are you for the people or against the people? Do you love Ugandans or not against? You don't love Ugandans? To me, that is what is the measure. If I do things which I think are interests of poor people, ordinary people, I will put everything of mine there. But there are also those who want to make money, who have turned politics into a commercial venture. They go to make money, they want big jobs. They don't care a damn thing about it. You see.
And I think that's the biggest factor.
Yes, people, you see.
Opportunism.
You are young. Even Dombo is. When we were young, I was going to Kachonga, where Dombo went. We were paying 500 shillings. 500 shillings a year for a term, for a school fees. But in that 500, we got all textbooks, all exercise books, all toilet papers, all Omo for washing, all Lifebuoy for washing the body, 2 uniforms, 1 pair of PE uniform. On 500, you ate meat, you ate fish at school. During that time, there was no question of drugstore. No doctor will tell you there's no doctor in the hospital and there's no medicine. Never. It was granted that you will get medicine in the hospital. Now today, the pharmacist, when you go to a first pharmacy, Freika, you find a huge multitude of people buying medicine. Doctors simply prescribe, go and buy medicine. Because this is who are ruling us. They don't love us. They take all our money for themselves. That's where the ideology is.
Taking you
are
back.
You for the people or you are for just eating yourself? I mean, for eating for your family.
Okay. Were you naive to imagine that the other parties with whom you were relating were well-meaning?
No. There are individuals in those parties. Good people who think the way I'm thinking. But there are also individuals who think the way the Dombos think. Get this is for you. Get amass wealth. They are there. Now, it takes time to sort out people. Eventually, those who agree will agree. And they will. One day they are going to come here. People will come who will definitely care for the Ugandans. Patriotism means loving people, because this geographic expression of Uganda is not really what matters. It's the people inside it who matter. Who cares about it?
What were the minimum working arrangements that you had in your agreements?
To unite these forces which are for the people and to get rid of the Dombos.
Museveni.
But Museveni has a team. He has his henchmen and henchwomen. People who load on us every load. And they have a free ride. And there are people who are able to accuse you, how you are this, you are not patriotic, how you are this, how you are this, how you are that. When you question their thinking, they put names on you. They don't question. Why is Wafula saying these things? They don't question that.
NRM always peddles this argument that the opposition lacks ideology, while NRM has ideology. And that the opposition is preoccupied with removing Museveni. Isn't that a plausible idea?
In the opposition, there are individuals that are well-intended. And when you interact with people like my brother Wafula Ogutu, there have been people like Honorable Manya Mshega, Honorable the former Gigi Ruzindana, and many of them, Honorable Gallo, with whom we were on the campaign team, who was even at one time on the legal team for President Museveni. These are well-meaning people, and when you interact with them, either on the media now or one-on-one, you see that they engage with the decorum, they have a purpose, but also that they are not petty. But there are also individuals, there is a class that is emerging, that their work on social media is to disparage, to call names, and the more you abuse, is the more they will respect you and people cheer you. You have seen these people. And this is a fundamental challenge that the opposition right now has. Look at a person like Wafula Ogutu. At times I sympathize with him. Because for us, when we were young and were in school, he's one of the persons who would ask the hard but well-intended questions to the powers that be. He was one of the journalists who first hosted the president.
In the daily topic.
And he...
weekly topic.
And he would ask questions.
Yeah.
Some of them you have considered differently now. But now, if Wafula Ogutu called a press conference, so he went to meet the president and ask the same questions, he will be accused by the people on the other side. To say, no, Wafula has been bought.
Because the culture has been brought to
because they would expect him to go and ask the president to abuse, to begin by abusing.
Yeah.
So that you demonstrate that actually you are not with these people. I have wanted myself a number of times to go and visit my friends at the National Unity Platform, at their party headquarters.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Why should we meet in the studios and interact?
I need to capture this record. Dombo wants to go to Kavule.
But why not, Kagwa?
Why not? I am in charge of public relations for the NRM. So how do you do PR, and you don't do PR with parties you are competing with, and you expect dialogue?
Most of you are in iPod.
So what will be the dialogue about?
Why don't you go?
They are chasing their own. Now, if they see, the other day I was on one of the programs and joked. I have a friend of mine, very senior, with whom I was in parliament for many years. He's in the National Unity Platform. And I had a chat with him, gave him an invitation card when my daughter was marrying. And he said, Mani, these things, I'll have to consult my friends and see. I asked him, has this politics gone this far? And in the center of such perspective, can you expect people to come together and discuss the things that should? But let me respond to a few things that have been raised by my brother Wafula Ogutu. Wafula Ogutu is well intended, and there are many jobs that Wafula Ogutu can do. For instance, himself. Let me begin with himself. Let me not talk about his children. There are many jobs Wafula Ogutu can do with the government of Uganda, for instance. And there are many areas, his brains. But should the president tomorrow choose to pick Wafula Ogutu, you'll never go back to PFF. They will disown you, and they will call you all sorts of names. And this issue, when he talks that there are people, this is also a nomenclature which has been brought by Honorable Dr. Kiza Besigye, which says they are the oppressors,
yes, and the oppressed.
And they are the oppressed. Yes. So when Honorable Kwago in Kampala was voted out, was he an oppressor or was he oppressed?
Was he voted out?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. But
he was voted out, and they voted.
What do you know that we don't know?
Were there elections last time? Anywhere in Uganda?
Actually,
were there elections in your place?
It would have been worse.
Busiro South. Were there elections?
That nomenclature would have been clear for my brother Wafula Ogutu if our mayor, if NRM flag bearer for Kampala won. The talk would be totally different. But because Honorable Kwago lost the National Unity Platform, with whom they are seeking to go to do alliance, now the discussion changes to say that the elections in Kampala, you had my brother Sem Jung, I said there was no rigging in his constituency. Why? Because he was defeated by the National Unity Platform. And whenever NRM wins, the nomenclature changes. So, Honorable Wafula Ogutu, I think you have colleagues you have worked with in this government who hold you in high esteem, and your children, if they can effectively compete, even when they can, because where there is scarcity of jobs, let me tell you this, before you bring your question, where there is scarcity of jobs in government, the likelihood is that even the people who are going to advertise jobs themselves have their own children or relatives who want to get jobs.
When you bring the case of when you bring the case of Lukwago and Balimwezo, does this highlight the notion that the opposition is an enemy unto themselves?
The issue that is failing them to come together is amidst themselves, because they have not sat down to agree on exactly what exactly they want. Because ordinarily one would have expected that given what Lukwago was doing in town and what he had been doing with those people together, they would have come and worked together. Honorable Semujunganda, when he was running for Kira municipality, that these people should have come together to ensure that perhaps Musisi goes elsewhere. But now the interests totally become different and they become personal and individual. And once they become individual, they begin competing against one another.
But you see, before the elections, last elections, well, I had the occasion to attend a meeting where of NOP and PFF leaders. And the issue of Lukwago and Valumwezo came up. And the information was put on table that Valumwezo was having discussions with, he had attended some meeting of some the tycoons of this town and Saleh. And he was discussing how the election would be handled. That information, I remember that evening, that was mentioned, and nobody countered it. So, there were a lot of deals in the last elections. I'm asked you, were there elections? There were very, very few elections all across the country. They would just declare somebody, even the loser, even the 10th person would be declared the winner. So, the mayor of Kampala, it was a negotiated settlement. It was a negotiated position.
Yeah, but that epitomizes the kind of acrimony
now that becomes, it's not acrimony, it's individual people wanting power. What I talked about.
No, someone is fronted by the party.
Individuals.
Someone is fronted by the party. And behind the scenes, he's negotiating with the state.
Yes, absolutely. And you see how, if you analyze what the system has been making and his moves, they just, whenever I see him talking, I just go back to that meeting we had that evening, where there were negotiations and giving in. There's no more combating, and that was part of it. Don't combat. The same thing happened one time in FDC, where actually when they gave the money, Dombo was talking about, Honorable Dombo, was no demonstrations, no working with the NOP, no alliance with the NOP. Those were the conditions of the government. Take the money and make sure, and by the way, they fulfilled that. No demonstration after election. No this. It worked. So but those leaders, they are.
My brother, I want my brother Wafula Ogutu to know that that is what part of what they call statecraft. States, in order to survive and move on, do many things behind the scenes, and you know it.
Yeah, I know that.
You have been writing about it.
Yes, I know that. Yes.
Currently, you can read what is happening in Iran, is happening in this this man who is fighting with Russia is Zelensky.
In Ukraine.
And that is how states are run.
So NRM has successfully broken the backs of the opposition, and they can never unite.
It is not the responsibility of NRM to protect the opposition. It's just basically to protect the legal framework through which all parties work.
If you loved Uganda, you would want to protect the opposition because you want other ideas. Your ideas are in your NRM. Some of them are moribund. They are not good ideas at all. This country, we are rotating around. We are not moving forward.
But how do you see?
They could have somewhere from Wafula's side who can bring good ideas. I've seen this when you change a position. You have been a place and bring somebody. Somebody will come and sweep out that out of that office. Even if you're not seeing the dirt yourself. That's what Uganda has missed.
Well, we need to take a very short, rather short break, but the conversation around the fate of the opposition continues. We ask, how better can they navigate the murky waters in the midst of all the threats that are lingering over their heads? We'll be back.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient, and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Billions are invested. Promises are made. Projects are launched. But what happens after the ribbon is cut? Are public fans delivering results? Are communities seeing the impact? Every Sunday, NBS Television follows the money, audits the promises, and examines the projects shaping Uganda with facts, evidence, and voices from the ground. Fixing Uganda, auditing progress, demanding accountability. Every Sunday, only on NBS Television.
Mami!
Wanje sabo.
Ugamotia. Oina kachi. Ha. Kagulinzi tekako. Teka kagulinzi. I want everything, eh?
Okay.
Yes. So, when I pay the time, this will increase my loan limit. Hey! Hemutieni momo. Madam, remove the food. Put more meat. Add the meat. Yes. Hey! Now, these are the fruits of paying your loan is in time.
That's right. Every time you repay your Momo loan on time, your loan limit can increase, giving you access to more money when you need it most. Dial *165*5# to borrow, pay back, and grow your limit with Momo loans.
You have juice?
Yes.
Juice in me.
Welcome back. The question remains, how bleak or bright is the future of the opposition amidst all the challenges that they're confronting? There is something very unusual. Leaders of the National Inter-Platform are in exile. Some are in prison. Besigye is in prison. Lukwago is in prison. Could this be the darkest moment for the opposition?
Yeah, when you analyze now, we have the old parties have been decapitated, leadership more or less. Rightly, the leadership of NUP is either in exile or in jail. The leadership of PFF, either they are in exile or they are in jail or they are in jail hospitals. The leadership of DP is in bed. They are in the bedroom, in a set house.
Somebody said they are not.
No, they are. they have now entered properly. They are in the bedroom. So it is something which has happened that, as the design of Museveni, I told you that he doesn't want to see an alternative leadership. And now with this scheme of the NRM, the dynasty they are building of the family, Museveni family, where they want the son to take over, he has finished. In the army, they have removed all the leadership who would pose a danger. In the police, they have removed them. In the executive, they have removed them. In the parties, they are removing them. Today, even in NRM, if you ask who can be a president apart from Muhoozi, they can't tell you. They can't. But one time, Museveni has developed Vidandi. No, one time Besigye could replace him. Vidandi could replace him. Eria Kategaya could replace him. Amambabaze could replace him. All those people, he finished them. He finished all his brothers. He finished our sons. Now he's just dealing with Bazukuru. kids who know him as a demigod. That's what the design he has. But it will eat us. It will eat him, and it will eat him. It will eat him also. It will eat us and him as well.
But how come it's enabled him to sail through all the decades? And today as we speak, the opposition is at its weakest.
He has the resources. I'm repeating this. He has the money, he has the guns, he has the political power. We don't have. Now we can't even fundraise. Parties can't fundraise. And even the money which legally is supposed to be given to them through iPod, which I proudly say I'm associated with, it is formation. That iPod money, the law is clear that during the election time, you share the money equally as parties, which are in parliament. He refused that. He decided who should get at what time. For 2 terms now, for 2 quarters, he hasn't given money to other parties. It is his party which gets the money. So when you have a design like that, you can't build institutions. The parties can only be weak. The opposition can only be weak.
It's all doom and gloom for the opposition.
But it's not the end. It can never be doom forever. Wherever there's doom, something rises out of it. Wherever there's something rotten, something very exuberant germinates there, and it will happen.
Yeah, but do you pick any lessons from the failures that you've registered over the years in your attempts to come together?
Yes, we do. We do. And actually, I personally think that we should be working within ourselves to unite.
But you can't.
We should also, when we are strong, we should also talk to these guys. Tell them their faces. The things I'm telling here at Dombo, I'll tell him even when we are negotiating. Let them wake up that what they are doing is endangering the country.
Okay. Does it dawn on you now that perhaps it's time for dialogue with the state?
I think talking is fine, because the way, the other day I sent a tweet, I wrote a tweet that the way I see it, I think we shall have to negotiate for a better way out of this. It can't be by force. We don't have guns. We can't use guns. But we also have a very callous and very arrogant and very selfish leadership who think that they have arrived, the Dombos, they have arrived, nothing will happen to them. But something will happen to them. But we don't want that something will happen to them. They have divided this country. There's hatred among the Ugandans. People are itching. They are angry inside. I can see even a tribal hatred. There are tribes here, you don't mention it, they mention it, people are angry. Why should it be like that? But it is something we are building ourselves, we are fomenting it. And we don't see it will cause trouble for this country. So with that one we need to discuss.
Honorable Wafula seems to suggest that the country is at a tipping point where you need to have a roundtable discussion with the opposition. How beautiful is such an idea?
When you read the holy books, both the Bible and the Quran, they urge the people or the brethren seated together to continue talking to one another. Nga kirungi aboluganda okubeera wamu nga batabaganyi. So if Ugandans are brothers and sisters, why shouldn't they talk to one another? Dialogue should not be not even an issue of a structured way. Dialogue should be a continuous process, like we have met here. Like we can have an appointment with Honorable Wafula Ogutu and have a chat on a cup of tea. Like Honorable Wafula Ogutu can pick a phone and he rings the president. I remember when I was the commissioner in Parliament, and Honorable Nandala Mafavi was the commissioner, and we had very bad roads in Bali. And I thought, why doesn't this young man exploit his position as a leader of the opposition and have a chat with the president? So I proposed it to Honorable Nandala Mafavi. I said, Honorable Nandala Mafavi, supposing you picked your phone and rang State House and you told the president that you need an appointment to discuss about issues of Eastern Uganda, don't you think the president would be happy to do it? Even when he would be scoring political mileage, but he would also be scoring social service delivery. When this matter, I brought it to my brother of Kira municipality. He said if that ever happens, Dombo, over his dead body, he cannot allow, and he saw many things. And I totally fail to understand why in Israel, when they were coming to attack Entebbe during Amin's regime, you saw in that film, the prime minister picked a phone and called the leader of the opposition to say,
we are sending a mission.
We are sending a mission. Our troops are airborne, actually said, our troops are airborne. The disagreement which emerged, but finally there was concurrence that whatever they are doing, it was for the benefit of Israel as a nation. So,
but do you see Museveni calling Besigye or Chagulanyi to tell him that?
Is there common ground?
Is it there? Can he do that?
Because every time there has been an attempt, even through the structured positions, people have been giving conditions. The talking must be done by a different party. There was an attempt in FDC. There was even a date set.
2016, right?
When you are supposed to, Besigye was supposed to go and meet with President Museveni. Because they fought together anyway. Besigye was his personal doctor. They know more about one another, more than we know about them.
That's true.
Because they live together in the bush. So why don't they reminisce on what used to happen, even when they have challenges like right now they have in the courts of law, behind the scenes? Somebody should, either through the religious institutions, some through the elders like you. Uganda, we need to talk to one another because we all belong here.
In this case, who would bail the cat and say, come, let's talk? Who would get down from the high horse and say, I'm ready to talk to you?
There is no cat to bail. Somebody.
You see, Kagwa, Museveni spoiled this whole thing about dialogue. I used to go to meet Museveni, and we would talk at his home for a long time. Almost over 10 times we used to have 2 of us just talking when I was a journalist. But if I went to talk to Museveni, he brought this thing of envelopes. He had never given you an envelope, even one in my life. But people think now I've gone for an envelope, and you are looking for a job, and you can never be respected after that. But it can be structured differently.
Because you can never be at equals with the president.
Equal, yes. But Museveni, what the structure should be, talk to organizations. Instead of talking to Wafula, talk to PFF. Talk to NUP. So that people come in the open.
Organizations have no hearts. Organizations have no feelings. It is the individuals in those organizations who create an atmosphere and must be talked to. By the way, there is nothing wrong with the envelopes.
No,
because
there's something wrong. It is corruption, 100%.
Let me tell you this.
Political corruption.
I remember, my brother cannot remember, and I remember going to his office when he was the leader of the opposition, and I was a member of the commission. When Parliament was really stuck in debt, members of Parliament, and we had a discussion with the president. We were in Changwanzi, we came back to Kampala, and the president accepted to bail us out instead of a Chinese company which wanted to buy the debts of members of Parliament. And the president accepted that they would help members of Parliament, because he asked us a question. If a Chinese company comes to bail you out, where will your loyalty be as members of Parliament? You can even pass a very bad law against the state or against yourselves without knowing, because of this compromising situation. And he gave us a Kinyankole proverb. When we were meeting, he said, you can only clean your bottom with your own hand. You cannot go to poo-poo and then you get your neighbor's hand to come and clean you. So he said, because of that, government will bear the responsibility, but we must wake up to learn to manage our resources. So when the president accepted, Honorable Wafula Ogutu called a press conference once he heard about it, and that members of the opposition were lining up to benefit.
Yeah.
He called a press conference, and
because it was sinister.
I fought it, yes.
So I went to his office and said, but Wafula Ogutu, it is us who have gone to beg so that we bail out members of Parliament. What would be wrong with the President Museveni arming your opposition members with a few shillings, which will help them to win in these elections so that they come to Parliament? That is something that I asked genuinely, but I didn't look at from the perspective of doing this. What we need to do, let elders be elders. Honorable Wafula Ogutu, you have a vintage position of age, knowledge, and experience. Let us behind the scenes, without looking to disparage anybody. Look for people whom we can talk to. Look up to your brother Museveni, whom you used to meet so many times, and ask him questions not in the light, behind the cameras. If there is a workable situation that comes out,
why do you want it to be discreet?
No, that's how things happen. Even the election of the Pope is discreet. If the church can do it at the election of the Pope, why do you want to do it in public?
Okay. Climb down the high horse, go meet Museveni privately. Perhaps it will resolve the stalemate that the opposition is in.
No, it is not just that one of that Wafula talking to Museveni will solve the problem. It could, but it is the design of Museveni which is wrong. Of wanting it to appear that actually this now has surrendered, now he wants help, now it's a problem there. Me, I think that if he were talking institutionally, even if there are few people, it's better than talking to an individual. Although an individual, you go back, because we can go to Museveni and I talk about Dar es Salaam and all these things, we can talk that, you become young, but still, when you are talking serious things, you need to beat one or two, a team of people. And we are talking on behalf of, if you go as an individual, you are not sure you are talking on behalf of the party, apart from your family or yourself.
I want to pick up from where you stated initially.
Yeah.
That the problem or the biggest factor that has led to disunity in the opposition is Museveni.
Yes, and his money. And his designs of dividing us. Yes. That I can say, if I would write an article, I would enumerate very many examples.
I would have loved to ask Honorable Butu. I don't know how he ran his politics when he was in Busia.
No. Bujiri.
When he was in Bujiri.
Yes.
How are you dealing with your opponents?
Which opponents?
Those you are competing with.
They are my friends. They were coming to my home. Actually, when I wanted to go to electoral parliament, the government minister whom I had defeated drove to my home and said, congratulations.
That was Mukisa.
Yes. You have won. Yes.
Don't you see?
And yes, why
don't we? Because
that was Bukoli.
When you are dealing with people who want to take your seat, that's the same challenge that they have in the opposition. When they want to discuss about coming together, then somebody wants to take Lukwago's seat, somebody wants to take SMU's seat, and these are not permanent seats.
You also have it in NRM.
They are not individual seats.
You also have it in NRM.
They are not individual seats, though. But what I'm proposing is that some of the things which happened, we all did them. In the 20 years of politics, I will have to write a book on how I was dealing and maneuvering with the opposition in order to win them, because there was opposition to myself. But on an honest view, Wafula Ogutu, you are a very senior person, and when you cease being, this country will miss something that you have.
Okay.
Those brains, those ideas must be cultivated and people begin talking about them behind the scenes.
Do you agree that the disunity in the opposition has been largely because of the state, the money, and self-aggrandization?
Not largely because of, but you can't rule out the role of the state.
Yeah, it is big.
You can't rule out the role of the state.
And you're comfortable with it?
Because the state will always see. The state, because once the President Museveni is NRM, competing and is a flag bearer, and their ideology is
remove
Museveni. And Museveni must survive. If you are the one, what do you do?
Remove Museveni system. Remove the Dombos. It is not only Museveni. The system, and have a new system.
No, that one, then you must have to change the constitution. Because on how to change Museveni, the constitution clearly delineates and gives the responsibilities and ideas.
That's the constitution said that the NRM should use the state machinery, the intelligence, to do work for them to destroy the opposition.
You see, when you win...
Does it work in other countries like that?
When you win...
The intelligence of countries fight the opposition and work for the government?
Haven't you seen it in the United States?
No, it doesn't.
People using the state intelligence.
No, but rarely does CIA work for...
Rare does it, but once in a while it happens.
But here, thinks it is a branch of NRM. The army is a branch of NRM. It's all wrong.
The history,
yes.
How do you break that? Can you break that because it is put in the constitution? Now, the only way you can break some of the things is by getting into a constructive engagement with the people, not only beginning with Museveni. There are many people in NRM.
Okay.
The
Do
discussions
you
that begin
envisage a
working.
moment where there will be a united opposition? And how much of a weight will they be?
Once they succeed in having a common idea or common ideas or ideology on what they want to do.
The idea is removing Museveni.
The idea is not to remove Museveni. Work for the interest of the people. Anybody in front of that, crush it.
And now don't you see? That's why the challenge begins. You know, my brother Nkwabu here in Kampala, when the President Museveni provided the resources as head of state for the construction of the roads, what did he do? He went and picked my brother Dr. Vesige to come and commission the roads that had been funded by the state.
That wasn't Museveni's money, was it?
He was the president.
Which is okay.
Have you had it anywhere?
We pay taxes.
No, it is good. It's okay. But have you?
In South Africa, yes.
Like
Mandela was leaving power to that man. One time, he was his Minister of Internal Affairs. And he was commissioning things, but he was the head of Inkatha. Yes.
Yeah, but he was a minister in government. Yes. Even Mao is the head of DP, but he can commission many things on behalf of government.
Yeah,
but when you bring Besigye, whose idea is basically that Museveni must be removed, and he's the face of the opposition, and you can see how far now the things have taken us.
So NRM fears a united opposition, right?
Sure enough, yeah.
Even if I'm the one, I would fear it.
Well, that's pretty much what we had for our discussion this morning. Let's continue sharing your perspective on what became of a united front in the opposition. Let's hear from you on all our socials, and thanks to all who are watching us via MTN TV by Afro Mobile. Have a lovely day and cheers.